Woohoo! Where am I? There I am. There I am, guys. I'm only 3 or 4 minutes late. Where are you? Anyways, let's enjoy the ride. This is me. And I'm going to turn it around so you don't have to stare at this, whatever kind of mug you're looking at. There we go. That's where I entered. We could go across there and have a heyday of a time. But we'll decide after this little venture here if we are going to go that way. So let's take this out of mode of using as a walking stick. Do a little of that. Do a little of this. And yeah, let's start walking. We'll see how everything's going. We're digging around here. Or somebody was. I wasn't showing it because it could be a dog, but anyway, so whoever knows me knows I'm walking in a live area of the Bigfoot beings. Thing about right now is our brush, our underbrush is very low. So whether, and I love this part about this camera, I can zoom. So whether, you know, they're going to still be able to find certain places on bank sides where they're fine and hiding, then that'll be their choices. One thing I want to quickly say about that bank, see that bank side back there? You know, if we think about how easy, like I talk about bank side corrosion a lot and stuff, and maybe it's tough for some people to kind of get where I'm really sorry about that. I'm just trying to figure out where this dang thing is again. There you go, it's far enough. And in these cases, look at that's all bank. And look at it's not just corroding away like nothing. It's not just falling into the abyss of the piece of earth below. Really start to understand that they go along picking at banks all this time, just scraping them down. Why are they doing it? Maybe in part for food. I'm walking on somebody else's footprint or steps right here. You know, when it becomes this kind of weather and such, I feel that they feel a lot more freedom. Because it's a lot harder for us to track them. Even though they believe they're not being tracked, I would imagine in most cases. They know that they're known of, I guess, but let's take a peek and then we'll carry on. Okay, I'm going to try to just leave this pole out most of the time. Hopefully I won't bang into much. Well, I only got sandals on, but I got good sandals on with really good traction. So I'm not worried about getting sopping feet. Other than the cold of it might be a bit of a drag, but so this is one of the spots where I've come and hung out quite a bit, guys. You know that, where I usually cross or many times crush. And that's what I was hoping to actually do today. I wasn't thinking too much about it, but about the creek part of it. But I was planning on going to this plateau that they have up there. I've showed another video recently where I was up on the upper side up there, filming down towards that somewhere. You guys hear that kerplunk? It's pretty hard to hear kerplunks in this kind of water flow. You got to understand that, because kerplunks and such are hear that one? That's a reference of a weird bubble. It's a reference of something making a shift. it's usually something happening to do that. And so why I say that is because other beings hear kerplunks. Other beings like to throw us off with noises. So be aware of the kerplunks. I'll turn this around and look at this little foot pattern here. I like to come in and give a little bit of angle sometimes and see if we can kind of see something that looks different than what my eye is reading at the heights I'm going at. A lot of trampled down stuff, but doesn't always. Whoops, I am going to adjust this stick. See, I got another camera on here and I went and put it in a bit of a bad spot. Haven't turned it on yet, but it's kind of in a bad spot, kind of, for me having my stick good. But he who knows me, this long pole that I use comes in very handy. I really like it. I could use it as a weapon to some degree. I actually kind of have a little bit of a plan to make it into a little bit of a bayonet, if that's what the proper word is, where I just have a 2 or 3 inch blade on the end that I could expose for whatever, a tool, a weapon. Oh yeah, we are not alone. It's one of our favorite spots right down there to the right. This isn't that's not the one with the claw marks on it. Is this the one, or is it further down? Yeah, I think it's further down, but this one here does have a little something going on there. Remember that pattern I used to talk about quite often? I call it the cat scratch post pattern. That is something that they own. They're not doing it much around here as much. I know one in particular tree they love doing it on in our heritage park, but they're just not doing it as much. So whatever's with that. So we'll go deeper now. Maybe take a different view at that little hangout in there. Into the water here. Oh, I still got you in zoom. Let me do a zoom back for a minute. This is one of those finger screens where I got to do the zoom that way. I'm going to try my volume button here, so hold on for a second. Hopefully this works. No, that is a volume. I thought maybe it would do a zoom for me. So I'm going to do an adjustment here, guys, so hold on for the ride, and hopefully it's a good payoff. If you ask me, it's all a payoff. I think up there is where we're going to get to see my plateau that I'm talking about too. So hold on here, I'll see how I can get through these trees here. You might hear some rustling. Birdies around calling my name, saying, "What are you doing so close, Tin Man? In my area." So the plateau is up there. You can see that over there. Yeah, there it is. If that's the exact one, I'm not too sure. There, that's enough testing on this tree. You know, there's really is tricks to the trade on relationships. They'll hang on this bank, this side, I should say. They'll sort of surround you. Basically, what the world's being opened up to is that there are a hell of a lot. There's no other way of putting it right now. There's no way of really putting a number on it, you guys. There are a hell of a lot. Are they all as we understand like a patty? Who knows? I believe they all are somehow within the same, I don't know if you would call it family, but they all have a relation in what's going on here, what I'm claiming on many different finds. And I'm doing it on a much higher level than anybody else. If you hear somebody else out there talking about some rocks broken or piled up or whatever type thing, I don't talk that little. I'm talking about the mountains. I'm talking about there's a good chance that they're behind the Grand Canyon. Like, I believe that these guys are probably behind the trees around the world. I think they've been around a heck of a lot longer than us. Our science is a little bit confused, or a lot confused, on where our trees come from, where our earth part of it, the dirt part of it, how it was part of this whole rock connecting and design. Okay, I just went for the float mudders. I should pull up my pants though. Sorry guys, I'm kind of... What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quiet walk now for a while. I'm going to just stop for a minute. Anybody's got a hey, what's up, Tin Man? You can do that. Or if not, just hold on while I adjust my pants, but put you in a better spot. So maybe you can see some movement of anything. There we go. Even just the views are unbelievable, beautiful anyways. Woo-wee. Yeah, I think I'll end up getting pretty mucky here. Alrighty. Back in it. I thought about bringing my rubber boots, but I thought to myself, if I bring rubber boots, their traction might just suck too much. So here's that one spot. We got a couple of bolts here. This is the one spot that they ended up busting a trail. It was obvious them. Talked about it a few different times. Look at that, eh? Let's check this out. I'm going to show you. I'm going to shorten my pole here for a moment. See that one right there with this cool bend on it? That might be even a little bit of slicing work they've done there. If it's getting the focus there, I'm not too sure. But minimally, you can feel that, or see the tension in there. There we go. See that? And you can see how this thing's kind of slightly, maybe that could be skinning. And part of that, will be pulling a richness of energy in here. So the next time we come walking in here, which is still winter, say, and that's part of why they took off this guy too, because that will be wanting an energy for healing. And it pulls it all into here. It just will bypass that. That might be part of the benefits of the sucker system, is it might be an easier system of growing for the plants. That's why they do so fast, because there's an easy way for them to make the nourishment energy bypass certain spots. So check this out. See that rock there? It looks like there's a couple of finger rubs on it of darker mud. You see that? So this is a pretty cool spot where I come, and I've walked up into there. We've walked up into that area where we were just filming, because that's in, like, this whole corner right there is a fabulous spot. And I'd imagine these guys just move easier than our household cats. You know, look at how often your household cat can surprise you and you have no idea where it is. And all of a sudden, she shows up. So I'm going to do a little bit of viewing here. Maybe I'll go on that kind of an angle. See if we can surprise anybody. Actually, I'm not going to do that angle. I'm going to do this angle. Remember, you're listening. You're listening for those pod knocks, bangs, kerplunks. They're actually ruby mixed in with these sounds. It's testing your own awareness. Or they're testing your awareness. Absolutely beautiful day. They'll be enjoying it, I'd imagine. There we go. Doing a little bit of a rest on the tree here. Whoop. It's actually a branch that's upside down. Didn't come off of this tree. It might came off of maybe there wasn't some behind it. Looks like it could be the top of it. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. Anybody who thinks it's going to be super fast on this end, I'm not doing it super fast. Super fast is too dangerous. I don't know if you've heard, but I got growled at a couple of years back there. And so I kind of understand a danger element, at least through hearing it. Water's a great temperature, I tell you. Alrighty. What do you say we go further down the creek? You know, there might be people out there going, no, Tin Man, don't leave that spot. But that spot's not going anywhere. These numbers, people will only get more successful at doing this. You're not going to get successful like a patty too easily. Doesn't mean it won't happen. But I don't see it happening very easily. I figure I have a certain amount of some kind of relationship. And I get a fair amount of noise, but I can always very easily say it's just testing noise. It's not really trying to hang out with me noise. And if it's not really trying to hang out with me noise, if I haven't gotten to that point yet, then what point am I really at? You know what I mean? Okay, let's go this way and see. All right, on, you guys are talking and stuff. Cool. Annalise, Alexander. Good to have you guys out. Galactagia. Sorry about that. Ian, good work searching, my friend. Thank you very much. Oh, it's Q. Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to do one of those spellings where I can make sure I'm pronouncing it properly for you. Okay, let's walk forward here. Don't forget those thumbs up. Even if one of you could even throw that message down there for me, that Ian's in the middle of, really trying to bring us some stuff, and doesn't have the time to be reminding people about, about that generous thing to do. Alrighty. So this is kind of that spot, though. On one in particular time, I did what I did. So I'm going to go for an upper shot. Who likes those, with a message here, who likes those smash thumbs? Awesome. Those high views I go for. You like those when I'm doing those reach out things I'm doing? Let me know. I'm going to do another one here. Let me know if you like the long reach views I'm giving you. And there's a reason for that, obviously, that you can understand, I'm sure. I'll make sure I'm not wiggling this stick too much and it's feeling strong for you. So yeah, I want to go about on that angle. I don't have to reach so far. I'll do it like this. And then I'm going to do a zoom in a moment. Wondering if I should do a full load zoom. Sometimes talking just keeps me comfortable too, guys. Keep your mind on a subject when you talk about your subject. Like right now I'm more talking about filming than anything. Sometimes people are going, why are you blah 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 closer on that in particular thing? Well, I'm not necessarily seeing what you're seeing right now, but I'll see it later. So come back on my lives. If you like something, please step back in and say, Ken, we watched Judd, loved it, or we hated it. Do whatever you like, but it's really helpful for you to step back in and say that, because, you know, we can't trust that, you know, YouTube is really leaving any of these comments out there. I don't watch something that shows the... Hopefully that's the best zoom. Okay, let's see what I can get here for you. So hopefully we're getting some kind of trippy stuff going on. Oops! One more time, I'm going to try that. Do? Yeah? Okay, hopefully. The stinking zoom on this. I'm 54 years old. I'm at that age where... I don't want to really say it that I'm just going to argue with things too much, but it seems to happen sometimes. Oh, look at how beauty we get down here. Beautiful water. Great spot, eh? Let's continue down the trail, guys. I did a video earlier, just as I was making my way here. I stopped at the top of the creek up a ways there. Let's see what it was like. I was about to go down this path. It was a pretty slippery path. And guess what? I bit it. Did a good wipeout, but the great thing was I didn't even end up in the mud. So I wasn't too bad off. So what you guys can do is you can come into these areas like this where you really are high suspect, and then you think like them. Obviously in that tree, like that tree right in front of us, not unless there's something pretty darn small like bird size, get away from hiding from you. You can tell by just looking at that tree, unless the thing that happens to be, say, some kind of a miniature sized dog size was directly behind it and smart enough, knowing how to use that tree as a tool. So what you guys have to realize is these guys are master at mimicry. Mimicry isn't just a vocalization. It's using that tree as a tool to hide behind it. How they see that as mimicry, I don't know. I see it as mimicry, maybe you don't. But so try to really pull your mind into those things. You see those kind of a dark spot like right in there, in the center there, that's advantage point for them. They know what we're looking at. They understand what we see, and I've already tested that enough to know that. And part of the biggest way that I try to explain it to you guys is through the glasses that they wear. Finger glasses. They'll even use sticks. But what they understand is when they one time learned from their brother or something, to when you look through those sticks right there, you can have your face right there and be looking at us, and they get to see all of this area here. Meanwhile, we're trying to pick out all of that area, but they know we're standing here. They were the one hiding. They waited until we walked here very easily. Well, for an added option, you turn around and you throw your sets of fingers like that over your eyes, where it's not at all changing your vision. You can hold them close, far, whatever you're doing. But what that does is it's actually blocking our view that much more. So you watch for those kind of finger sticks. They can be different shapes because they can hold their hand in an easier, in a, whatever that word would be, position, more flexible position. Let's go with that. And so obviously they can do more shapes than you can do. But I have it in my videos. And if you don't know I have it in my videos, I can punch in, oh yeah, under Tin Man, just punch in finger glasses. And you'll end up seeing. Okay, let's see if we can walk this. Whoa. No problem. Just my overreacting vocalization. Woohoo! Wow, this is gorgeous, eh? You seen one at 14. Very, very nice, man. That is awesome. I'm kind of thinking that there's an opportunity for me to cross the creek, like to go back to where my car is at the beginning there, and go on the bank side a bit up there, where I've only started to explore it once. There's a nice wading pool or something. To me, I have video on this where I thought they were kind of creating that. This is that one great big pool. Yeah, it's all from right here. That's right. A great big pool that I've a number of times come to in my videos. So over on this side here, what you basically get is you get some millionaire houses up there, and nobody comes to that bank and looks over the bank ever, except maybe when a guest comes and they want to show their guest something. So you can understand the freedom. And then what these guys do is they really do have different ones that are working in doing certain ways of lookout. And if you don't believe that, then how do you believe that they've stayed out of our view? If you don't believe that they're manipulative at all, then why would they be hiding? Now keep going with your thoughts, because I'm telling you right now, they're destructive also. Is it an on-purpose destructive way? I don't know. I kind of refer to it as almost like more like an ant. An ant is just going out there and doing his job. He has no thought beyond that. These guys have thought beyond it, obviously. And that's where we can see their mischievousness in there. I'm going to give us a... I know what I'm going to do. Stand right on here. As long as I don't fall. Whoops. So, am I on major zoom in? I guess I am, aren't I? Where am I? There we go. How I get to say this so easily, I don't know if you guys are hearing that, but how I get to say my stuff so easily, you guys, it's really my experiences. I'm not telling you other people's experiences that I've read and learned from or anything like that. I'm telling all the stuff that gets said on my channel is now stuff that is all my stuff that's cataloged. And if you're a newbie and you haven't seen my first interaction, go to a video in my place section there under Tin Man 100% or your money back kind of statement or something like that. There'll be a video in there called First Face to Face. There's different couple of versions of it in there, but there's a 2-minute one or so. So study that one for a while. As soon as you end up realizing you see the little guy that I'm kind of connecting with, realize you need to keep studying it. Doesn't mean for the next 6 hours sit there. I'm talking about here and there. Come back to that video, and eventually you'll really open your mind on numbers, and those numbers happen to be big beings in that in particular little bit of footage. If you listen very carefully in that video, you'll hear a lot of little chatter in there. You'll even see a message from one of the viewers talking about it, and really made me open my ears to it. And it sounds a lot like Bigfoot anthropologist has brought up on video before. The noise does. It's a background kind of noise. It's to try to they'll reflect a wind noise, a vehicle wind noise. Rain against a vehicle, rain, however they're hearing the noise, they try to make it in that similarity thing. So if you live where there's moose, they're going to be doing moose call. Around here they won't do moose call. So if you're sometimes thinking to yourself, I didn't know there were any elk out here in heat, this is the wrong time for them to be doing those calls, then realize there might be something else going on. Too bad I didn't have a remote control boat. This would be the water to watch those guys horse around on with those remote controls, eh? Eh? Yeah, I'm Canadian, eh? Okay, I'm going to shorten up my wand here because I don't feel like having it. What am I doing here? Okay, there we go. Nope, I'm going to go like this one. There's a way to make the wand sturdier. So that's all I'm doing. That must be my foot spot. Yeah. I won't show you guys. So, shall we see if we can push through here a little bit then, eh? Let's do it. Let's do it. See if I can walk this trail. This is actually part of the trail here. I'll try this one first. Whoop. Fell in a hole there. Guys listening for odd noises out there? Oh, so it looks like somebody ended up actually having a fire at the fire pit. That's cool. Maybe people notice it, but I've pointed it out also a number of times where they just will make a fire pit for us. It's almost like it's an invite to, you know, this is far enough for you. So we got a, oh, I thought that was stirred up mud right now, but it's not. But it's, you know, not necessarily super duper old, but see us, we got to end up using this spot. Now that my shoes are so mucked, I don't mind walking still. I've walked in this far before on this trail, but I ended up turning back because that in particular day I didn't feel like getting that mucked. So look at the wood chips here, eh? Oh no, that's something else. Some kind of nuts or something. Maybe. You know, in my early days, I really had a lot of information indicating that mums clean up a lot. You know, you think about our mums. Always going behind us and cleaning up her stuff, staying on top of it for whatever natural reasons or whatever. And these mums got to keep their kids safe. So if you think about this stuff mowed down, and then you look at that bit, and you try to wonder yourself, well, what's the difference in that, this other plant right here? Why isn't it mowed down? Spots like this, you could come in behind, you could take a quick peek for prints and stuff. If you want to stay low-key and you don't want to tell them, which I advise, is don't act like you're looking for them ever. You can have it in your mind, obviously, but whew, just got a good muck there. You could have it in your mind, but wow, look at this spot, man. I wonder why they stop you from coming in here. Look at that through there. Wonder what we got going on over there, eh? Pretty hard to travel in this stuff. You'll sink with a lot of your footing. Temperature is warm enough right now. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I've got my sleeves rolled up. I'm perspiring on my back. I'm making enough heat control for myself. So you get to see there's more properties up here. This is kind of a residential area. Up past this spot here. See that clay back in there? We're gonna go there. Here we are in a bit of a trail. Whatever I was saying there, residential or something. Whatever kind of print they're trying to give us right here is, if that was a print, maybe a stick just got picked up or something. Really haven't been coming across much for prints. I bet you if I came back here in another day or two, we would probably see more prints. It's common practice. Try that yourself then. If you're really aware around the mud spots and stuff on a path is where they like to leave prints. So what you do is when you're walking through that spot there, you could even stop and let them know that you're really interested in that spot. Come back 2 days later and see if they've added anything in there. And you using your common sense whether you think there's hikers in the area or not. And then look at the, you know, I watched this guy on YouTube a little bit. He's a mink, it's always hunting, but he's a mink guy. Can't remember the name of the show right now, but you'll be able to pull him up. He's probably the only, it's a young guy, wife, little kid. He's training a new dog, puppy, and he's got 3 or 4 different minks that he's raised up, and he goes around and helps with the varmint problems at people's farms and stuff like this. That guy comes across a bunch of tracks, the same kind of tracks that I'm trying to teach a lot of people that are the fake tracks. And he's out there, he's telling you, and he's going, this is a raccoon one, and this is a, you know, a muskrat and stuff like that. And if he really started to calculate, oh, we got somebody swimming around here. If he really started to calculate out the, he went up there. If he really started to calculate the patterns, smart guy like that tracks animals, and like, you should see how good he is at training animals. See that? That kind of look almost like foot patterns going in there, guys. See, that's pretty heavy, large stepping that's gone on here. Kind of funny because you could walk up on the bank, but maybe they don't like to squish the bank if it's a big guy or something, right? So I'm working towards that right here. I thought it was a little bit more exposed mud and stuff. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a lesson. I know further down, I don't know how much further, but I used to just live down, you know, not a mile down. And so I used to walk up towards this way. I never came up this far. So if I really wanted to, I could just figure out a way to get up to that road and walk up that road and out. Really glad I made it back into here. I'm enjoying it. I know I still got lots of time for my live. So if you're still sticking around, I think I'm going to try just burning to the top of this hill here. Whoops. I'm making it. No worries. I was just trying to figure a different angle with the camera, but climbing the hill and changing angles at the same time. What a great idea. This is great for forcing me to get into shape. Oh, I don't like using my upper body much. That's part of where my injury is my neck and head and stuff. My muscles seem to bother quite a bit when I use my upper body, so try not to too much. So that amount's good enough. Look at that, eh? See, these are our babies here. There we go. Cat scratch. Host symptoms I was telling you about. And then you get to see their actual clawing of it at the same time. Doing a bunch of stuff right there. You know, encouraging feed. Even bark. See all this here, what we're seeing right here? This is their design more than it's the actual tree. If we could figure out how to grow this tree in a glass bottle without any interaction at all, the bark will be different. The tree probably won't even grow near that size. Not really sure how it's going to work, but I find it very puzzling. No signs of a bear, which is nice. See if I can give you guys a good view. I'm going to give you a view for a moment, okay? And I'm going to take a break. See, give you a really high shot maybe. See where this baby wants to sit. There we go. I wouldn't doubt it if that ends up being pretty nice. Hopefully you don't fall. Oh yeah, I just came across another big pile of the nuts, all the debris. I'll show it to you guys. You know, no squirrel's gonna hurt this thing. I got an idea for you. Maybe we'll change that view because I'm still going to take another couple of minutes here. Hopefully I'm not ruining a view that somebody had that they were really enjoying. We'll leave it there. You know, I like to, you know, you want to catch it all, and you think, well, people can zoom if they see anything they like back in there. I like this camera, though. It does a pretty good job on trying to reach its focus pretty far. So I'm going to hit arrow. If you guys are liking that spot, Donna or anybody, just let me know. Hey, Donna, how's it going? Just let me know if you're liking that spot for an observation, a little bit of a spot with a thumb. Somebody could just shoot me a thumb right now. Good? Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to be... Oh, you're doing good. Okay, right on. You feed them fish, eh? Honey and butter? Is that what you were saying? You're feeding them honey and butter and stuff, eh? Yeah. Could be the crow's coming to check me out. I'll do a couple of crow calls and see if I get some attention with him. At this stuff that looks like nut waste or whatever, there's even one of those banana slugs on it chowing down, so must be something in there enjoyable. I think it's time to go behind this because I think somebody may be around here. We'll crack it through that way. some thick bush there. When you say, oh, here's another spot, I'm going to show you guys right now. There's a couple of nut accumulations where you ladies will relate. You'll relate with sitting and hanging out with your kids, cracking a bunch of nuts, leaving the stuff where it is, the leftovers, getting up and moving on. And we've got 2 piles of it right here. And the accumulation really doesn't make sense for any of the animals that we know that are walking around out here. Once you see that, I'll show you right now. So am I zoomed back? Notice how I go wrong way every time, guys? So you see that? That's the second one I just noticed here. And there's the other one. It gives you a better view of what's going on here. In many cases, when you come across that kind of stuff, you might even see something like, almost like a pedestal, where you figured the mom was probably sitting down, and you can see there's the slug. For whatever reason, he's feeling he can get something out of that stuff. And I think if you go and we start to look at, okay, maybe not a nut, maybe it's fruit. Yeah, I think that's a fruit or something. So that's even better. And hopefully it wasn't out of somebody's butt. I'm probably getting a good laugh out right now. Hey, he's smelling our poop again, you guys. Look at him. I told you, these humans are crazy. Okay, let's do a little adjustment like this. I'm going to shorten up my wand. See if we can bust through here. Yeah. I think I can go this way. If I can keep my feet on the ground instead of climbing up and over, why not? Oh, dang it. Other than that, nice prickle there. That's why not. I think I made the wrong choice. But with my pushy bad attitude nature is, I'll just push through it. It almost looks like there's a trail right in that part right there. I went through a bunch of, not a bunch, but a few blackberries trying to get through there. So I think because I did that, then I'm entitled to do this. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my way back now. Whatever, and then I'll hit stop. And I'll come back on for the allotted live I have at that moment. If you understand what I'm talking about. Appreciate all the thumbs up, guys. Means a lot. Comments help. You put me in a favorites list at all. That actually helps. Tin Man. YouTube recognizes sharing. They recognize saving playlists and stuff like that is a pretty high mark. My marks are from this last month are pretty good, but I just don't understand because I thought I should be paid for the last 2 months, and They said they sent me a check. There's a wipeout, but I was okay. And that's why I'm supposed to keep my feet on the ground. They sent me a check. I'm okay. But yeah, no money on my account, so kind of worried about that a bit. I was expecting it to probably be around 100, and what I'm guessing, 160 bucks. That's what I think my YouTube check should be at. So, we think about others' comforts. Let me go like this. Let me try to get us just as a look as we can. What if I set up a way where, sorry about all the way going, guys, but I got an idea. Alrighty. Let's go. You hear me singing, do you? Yeah. I've done that a few times. Keep my wand about like so. Alrighty. Let's try to see if one of these friendly beings will come out and visit us. Seems like this could be an upper trail. A little bit of a trail here. Let's see that there's been walking going on it. Let's see, there's been some heavy walking going on it right there. Right there. See that? That almost looks like let's see the toe part. Like, to me, toe pressing here, and that part that's across here there. Tiptoe style, there we go. Is it that? I don't know, but you gotta think to yourself, you know, the animals, the hoofed animals, could have been tearing that. Like, that is like torn ground, and that's the thing about hoof animals. Especially on mossy. Do I want to go over and go down on that side? Yes, I do. One of the things is knowing what you're going to grab. Oh yeah, look at that one. Maybe, eh? Where are we? Right here. Right there. See? Just take that away a little bit. It's kind of weird. Just sidestep maybe? Because I've seen before where they do side steps and stuff. So who really knows with that, but seriously, full out side step. Instead of a typical toe. And here's another one, and it just, you can see that one right there. Yeah, it's kind of, once again here, it's like somebody with that system where they come in and they do a push and step up. You know, they stretch that foot up there, put it in like that, and step up. Remember, there's going to be kids, there's going to be small feet, there's going to be big feet. So ones that think they don't live in the city, this is what you get in the city. You don't even have a clue where any of the birds are. You could almost be in a mindset that there's no birds around here, but there's actually a lot of birds that are set up and just hanging out and chilling for the winter. Okay. Yep, I'll stay up here. Alrighty, this guy's easy to just lift out of the way. Which is probably just the normal because it's a gate. So what we see around here is we see a whole bunch of whoops. Looks like I messed his guys up for a second. Let me fix this camera. Lots of footprints around here. They put out a lot of, thank you. It is a great area for sure. Thank you. showing everybody that there's a certain amount of trampoline in here that's mixed in, that it's got to be somebody with some size. So always, guys, what you have to think, in a way, is to mimic is to hide. To hide is to fool. You know, I'm not trying to come up with some great saying. To fool is to be Bigfoot. These, they have a reason for living. And part of that reason is maybe none of our business. Whoa. There we go. Oh, I'm still sliding. Maybe it's none of our business. And that's okay. But I'm telling a lot of us, just get my balance here for a second, that it is our business. And the reason is because, like I say, like an ant. Thought I heard a voice. Like an ant. And there are houses just up there, so I thought maybe somebody just... they just do a duty. We really, humans, are just doing duties, are we not? Okay, this is going to be weird, guys. I'm going to get that out of my front pocket. That's part of the problem. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. And, yeah, like we have duties. Like an ant has duties. You know? Look at us humans, still trying to figure out to focus on good ways of doing it. You know, everybody fights over everything, and it's all just about our focus has been screwed up for however many hundreds or thousands of years or whatever, and we're still working on it. So people should lighten up and a lot more just look the other way kind of thing on basic humanity. And we just tell people, no, you can't do that. It's not like a policeman should give a person a ticket every time. They should many times just telling a person, don't do that, man. You know, you're stupid to be doing that. Don't do it. And it teaches him to be like that with his kid a bit or something. Point is, we're learning a lot of stuff about ourselves still. These guys are learning about us too. We're learning about them in a higher interest way now. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, you want to look at this tree right here. Somebody threw me a noise from here again. It's either the plane's noise kind of bounced off of a tree. That tree right there, I was just fucking, it kind of hit my left ear well. Or somebody's just right around in here making noises. So hopefully we can listen for that. So I was going to just point out a little bit of the tree, see what we can do. Trees aren't supposed to be growing right now, guys. How we mostly understand all this design is it just looks like it's stretched for us, right? It doesn't look like it's just stretched. Well, it isn't just stretched. So we're going to just zoom in on here because it does stretch. The way that they operate with these trees is they make them suck a lot of water in. Hence a lot of sweating sometimes in trees. If you notice that your tree's sweatingness has come up. This time of year, on these evergreens and stuff, you shouldn't smell the sap so easily just swiping those needles, but they're very sap intense too on this feeding process. That's my figuring, okay? So anyways, we're going to just come in. We're going to look at that and we're going to just decide if we think is that the same spot? Yeah, if we think that's stretching or if somebody's actually picked at it, that fine marking. Because they do. Oh, and the problem is this is Wi-Fi, so I'm not going to I'm going to just stop there now. Because I remember looking at Wi-Fi and realized there's a certain amount of blurriness. Anyways, just live I wanted to show you guys. Not that I haven't shown it before. On my channel there you can find a number of videos on me trying to show that they score the trees to help them grow. I believe even fungus and all kinds of different things are their plantings. Like, not that they're the creators of them. They're the... We hear that snap? Made it! Yeah, I better make sure nothing's falling out of my pocket. You guys hearing that bird tweeting what was going on about 30 seconds back or something? So in these cases like this, you may have some property and you're noticing creeks starting to be exposed like this. And I'm actually using the word being exposed. You know, you might find that it's strictly the way the water system's working now, that you're getting some new creeks on your property or something. But pay attention that it might not just, could be being assisted, and it's not a big deal. She said, I wonder about our creeks like this. If we've ever taken the time, did we, over the last 5 years, regulate and try to measure a volume through that creek right there? I bet you we haven't. And I bet you that's one thing we should have been doing for 10 years everywhere. And I bet you if we did measurements there, it would help determine answers, no doubt. Because that's part of the problem here, guys, is water. So with these beings, my claim, you know, when I say my claim, I'm not trying to be above and all. I'm just stating that my thinking is that they really are behind the forest growing, spreading, you know, maybe even being all over the world, except for those few birds that drop the seeds themselves out of their poop or whatever. You remember that from science class? And blah, blah, blah. Even pollinators. I've even called out that. Saved myself. There you go. Sometimes you just gotta break them. Alrighty. Sometimes you come across this kind of stuff, you look to see if you've seen anything just fresh break. How dark it is right there, eh? Got a stump guy going on in there. Probably just stump, eh? Somebody out there's probably going, just go forward, just go close to it. Yeah, even if it was something, by the time I got there, it's gone. You know, I have to look at the ground. I can't just tromp over there in 3 seconds flat. If you don't have 3 seconds flat in your skill, then the chances are going to be you'll never really corner them. When you go to watch my first face-to-face, you will realize that, as I tell you here, it was luck in some sense, because the way I believe that they had me figured out is because I was going deeper into the park. To make that turn I just did when I see them face to face, I wasn't going deeper. I turned towards where the road would be. And because I turned towards where the road would be, I got a surprise as they got a surprise. And something happened with I think on the noise end of it and stuff, and it really triggered something for me to all just be super curious about that area. Oh, there we go, I saved myself. I naturally make all that noise and help it. Try to stop it. Whew, let's take a break, guys? How is that picture there? I'm going to zoom past the tree. But I think back there, if you kind of... let's have some zoom in effects or anything like that, if you like. And see if you can pick anything out back in there hiding or something. What's up high there, right, that you're seeing? I think I'm going to bring you this way. There we go. I want you to get that lower corner there too. Whoops. See, right here, I'm standing above a bunch of these branches. You can't see them, I guess, but all these willows shooting off this tree that, yeah, I would say he's been dead for a couple of years. I got some candies. I got some toffees that I'm going to put out. Three there I'll put out for him, and I'm going to enjoy one of them myself. Show the boys that I'm just chilling, having a good time. So you know how squirrels, chipmunks, those kind of guys will accumulate probably tens of thousands of their chow through the summer months. Guess who doesn't eat them all? And guess who watches where they hide them, or just knows where they hide them, and will go find. And that's how, you know, that back there, it ended up looking like a fruit stem of some sort. I don't know if that was an apple or not. But you can find that exact same case with them being nuts. Like that. How I know that? So I came across one that was, there literally had been thousands of nuts deshelled, eaten away. And it was right beside the stump, like I'm hanging right here. The stump had this big hole in the side of it. And it was a cash grab of where the boys and girls had been, the chipmunks had been storing all their food. And the water looks like that. It doesn't look too tasty. Looks like there's a lot of sediment in it, but for quenching a thirst and keeping your water up, then that's fine. It's kind of interesting. We got another creek down below us. We'll look at it in a moment, and maybe we can find some prints or something down there. How's the view out there, guys? Is it looking beautiful? See any shadow change? There should be no shadow change right now. If you start to study shadows, you'll start to understand when there is supposed to be shadow change and when there isn't supposed to be shadow change. And I'll tell you right now, the way everything's situated with the clouds, with the sun and all that kind of stuff, very little shadow change. And the way you're pointing, the shadow would drop to the left side. I'm just testing it out with my hand right here on the stump, the log that you're actually leaning up against. So in other words, if I stuck my hand right, right in front of the camera right now, kind of pointing up and down, just a flat hand pointing up and down, on the left side of it would be dark to you. On the right, as long as the camera doesn't switch around where you guys are. So on the side where this, that birchus kind of tree is on the, the skinny tree on the left, that would be the shadowed side. And on the right would be the lighter side. Or that bigger tree, that would be the righter side. And it's kind of funny because you look at that big tree right there. On the top of it, it looks shadowed on the top right, light on the left. That's telling you how certain reflections and stuff are going on. Like the darker shadow on the top of that tree on the right, it's probably shadowed from the branches above, and that's the biggest difference. So really, if you start thinking about that kind of stuff and you kind of pull it in and watch it throughout the day from your living room window, even like the stop sign down at the corner there, you watch how its shadow works. Maybe, I don't know, like I only do it in the forest. So watch dog language. If you watched my Doberman video, if you didn't watch that, then watch that video. That tells you some pretty cool stuff. Lots of times that kind of stuff goes on when I'm in proximity too, more so I would believe than if I was out of the area. Based on, let's tease that Ian guy. Let's see if he's aware. Let's see if he's thinking. If he's awake. I've had a number of the ones up with trying to point out to the people out there that they mimic a lot of dog noises. Alrighty. Time to get over this log. Should I put you guys over here. Like that for a minute. There. There we go. Made it. Safe and sound. So we see the caramel. Oh, we got it on super zoom. I was curious about that shadow down there growing. Which one are we looking at? I don't see him from this angle anymore. I think it'll be a little bit shorter. The stupid YouTube thing shooting in information all the time while I'm doing this live. It probably is using so much of my stuff. So look, we got the big tree here. We've got workings going on. We've got the workings that go on there. So this is a sideways slicing. And this ends up being scar tissue. So if you look at bark as scar tissue, you might get a different figuring from when I'm talking about that. And then here, you could come in and you could look real close and see if you think you see any claw marks or anything. Like I'm wondering about that one right there. Sometimes you can see a whole bunch of really thin marks and stuff. So you got to think about a mouse. A mouse ain't going to be showing much of a claw mark. And what this is about, could be kids hanging out around here. Could be real rodents. But you see the sand in here. Whether there's really sand in amongst that soil within this tree here or whatever, could be something that we could determine by digging it a little bit, and you'd realize the sand was brought up from a different location, hence the creek maybe. I don't know if this is an old pit at all. So here I was wondering about some footprints and such like that, right? But in all reality, how it works, the water runs and stuff, you know, at the end of the day, right at this moment, I'm going to stop about that, because that's about so much just trying to tell people what's really going on all the time. And it's like, I got lots of videos where I communicate a lot is going on, so people can be aware about those videos if they want to know what I'm thinking. So here we have someone that's been picking and picking and picking and eating and picking and eating and picking and eating. Oh yeah, but Tin Man, where's all the waste of it? Well, they take that away, I guess. So they probably break off a chunk like this chunk right there, and they'll take it over there and sit down and eat. And by the time Mom's finished, it's just turned all into compost. And then so in cases like this, you can come into certain cases and end up seeing the cut marks and stuff to be able yourself separate it from being a bird maybe, or whatever you think. Not to say that a bird's not going to be doing that. See, if we go right into that, we might be able to determine a mark back in there or something. Like these guys can drill somehow in rock. And I'm not making that up. Not just fracking the rock, drilling it. So if you really think about the structure of that hole, and a bird's wants in life, sometimes when you think like that, that helps you start to see the other vision. Okay, is this the way we came in? I think so. I think these prints down here are mine. Yep. Did I walk all over the place here? I probably just cut through there, but then I might have walked around a little bit there. There was a couple of prints that they must have been mine. Sometimes when you come from a different angle, you can see stuff differently. And that's when you might actually notice something of theirs. You might notice that you've been followed. You know, you wonder about the smartness here, and why would they ever leave a print behind at any time? You know, it's bizarre. So here's, oh yeah, this was, oh, this is also a fruit. It's a fruit skin. It's an apple, I think. Apple. Say it like I'm still trying to teach my kids. Apple. Apple. See that old kind of mess down there? Somebody could have been crouched down there with a few of them laying all over Mama or something while they were watching us on the hillside. They will sweep their dirt away, their messes away. Ooh, what do we got down there, guys? Oops, don't take it. See that texturing? I don't know if you guys pick up the texture at all. That all seems to be in a, especially that side right there where it's right in the center there. Kind of just a neat flat texture, like somebody had was prettying it up. Okay. Good. I had to step down a good one, that one. Okay. Look at this. Maybe. Woohoo! This water's smelling funky. Smelling funky. Where am I at? 1:35. I think I still have time. Right in here, it sounds like there's some good clunks that are happening. It's the same thing. Just listen to sounds, watch shadows. You really want to end up understanding them, then we got to study them. That ever feeling awesome, guys. Like, it's the temperature isn't, I can still kind of handle that for a moment or two. I wouldn't be able to keep walking in there. People use cold water for migraines, I hear. They do hot, they do cold and hot or something like that. I'm not too sure, but because I was telling a doctor or just some guy I know, actually, he's a pharmacist, that I do cold. Actually, it's funny. The first time I did my cold foot treatment is in this creek. I have it on a video way back in the early days, about 3 years old now. I was on this creek down there soaking my feet. In those videos, you never know. We could always have picked up on something. You know, I had no thinking about these creatures then. Well, I can't say no thinking. That would be not true. I should say I wasn't in the search of them. I was watching, I think at that time I was watching them on YouTube, no doubt. I've been a long time YouTuber. I've been around YouTube pretty much since it came out. Started my first video, put my first video on YouTube probably within the first year or two of it being out. But that channel got all closed down and everything. Look at all that built up around there, eh? Be great easily to hide behind. So you see up there, you can see kind of on a, right in the center there, that diagonal tree. You know, it's a dead one, and then the blackness at the bottom. And then you, like, that's a real tree stump darkness of black. And then you look at those other ones that are in amongst there and stuff, and you measure the darkness on them for comparison. And pretty much any time, I'm mostly thinking that I'm connecting with one of those guys. It's a black. It's not like, I haven't been a guy that's gotten something that I was thinking that was red and one of them. You know, just so for my understanding. And so another part about it is they know to expose a lot of the ground like that, I believe. I believe that they'll come along and even just on purpose have things showing. Or more so, it's about them spreading the leaves. Because once you really get into them again, they spread leaves. Like, you would come in this creek trail along here all the time, and you would start to really understand to what degree they spread leaves around and stuff. And it's probably mostly for their foot patterns or something like that, their activeness patterns, to try to cover that up. Or it could be even just that natural thing once again. Like, maybe they do that on creeks they don't even walk on. I mean, like, say they hadn't used this spot for a couple of days, but they still come by and maintain it that way. Just toss stuff around, break a couple of this, bend a little of that. Might be just about the camouflage for the humans. You know, like the mimicking for the humans, the hiding, the fooling. Sometimes you'll notice a huge accumulation of leaves covering an area, and you'll look around and that tree isn't there. Oh, okay, so we're at this great spot again. One of my favorite spots. Here, I'll have a little fun. I'm going to do a little bit of fun here, so hold on. Listen for unusual noises. I just heard a pretty good clunk. Try another little shift here. Alrighty guys, nightfall is starting to come here, dusk, and I'm probably close to the end of my time, so I'm just going to do a little finish out here, little check out around, see what's going on. Might be a good time because of the difference in color, not too sure. Alrighty guys, let's do the walkout. Put her onto a good spot. So you figure there's any hotness going on in there, guys? Appreciate the thumbs up. I appreciate who stuck around the whole time. That's awesome. Even if you didn't, if you come back and watch more, whatever, it's all awesome. Please sub and support and share it. You know, some of my stuff where maybe if you watch my first face-to-face, this is the rock was down here where I had the, I believe they gifted me the shape of a heart out of clay. I had made a Sasquatch and a heart showed up there. Can it be them? I think that they're bright enough to have figured out for sure how we kind of interpret a heart as love. Because you kind of got to think about this. They've been doing this, thinking about stuff for a lot longer than we're realizing right now. We're realizing that we're on someone new. But they're not. You know, they're maybe wondering why someone to this level is, you know, looking in their windows and in their doors and stuff. But other than that, they're in a little bit of an adventure, I think, with the new humans that are going out and looking a lot. And that's not a poop, it's just a log. It's dark right in there, eh? And you think about it too. Say if that was only as dark as that stump right there. Well, if me and you were wearing a couple of black garbage bags, we could hide right there and just be that much more darker of that thing. So that's how simple it can be. Now for me to get into that, say if that was the one I was going to go look at what I have to pass through. What do us humans do right away as soon as we're going to go this way? Watch our feeding. And once we're looking at our footing, what's happening? Those 2 plastic bags are leaving. If you're a thief, that's a good way to do it, eh? With black cape. This is where I got to see a little youngster, guys. I was coming right here. Some branches right there. Had Jay behind me somewhere around there. I was right here. I pushed the branch out of the way, and when I did, I looked this way, I guess, just looking where I was pushing the couple of branches, and right there I got to see something jump, jump, jump. I got to see its head like it was popping 3 times. And the reason why that was going on and that guy was there was because there's a guy that, I don't know, I haven't seen him for a while, I haven't been coming around much, but he comes around with his bicycle. He comes around with a dog that will use rocks for his ball, and this guy throws the rock in the water. He doesn't like to do it too much because the dog's being hard on his mouth. So the dog barks a lot. And that little being was hanging out there. I didn't get a good look, other than I can say there was like, I imagine I was seeing the black head, unless it happened to be a butt. I think it was the black head of him. Yoo-hoo! We survived! We did it, guys, so let's just walk over here if anybody's still around. I don't know if I got much time left, but I don't mind just walking here and taking a peek over at this stuff. Because this is where many of us know that I've hung out lots of times. And yeah. So look at, they've been working that bank a bit there. You see that? See that? They've been working the bank then, guys. And that's what I was talking about. Look at this bank right here. We'll be able to see that it's all in the exact same spot. Look at the wear right at that spot. In that corner. Different things. We will start to be really aware of it. So you really question why that's happening. Question why in Guatemala, Brazil, wherever they got the mountains that have avalanches falling, for no apparent reason. You don't see mud, you don't see whatever we're going to see, and they will be falling. It's because these guys do this. They just pick and stuff like that, and they don't care maybe about our safety, or they're testing their abilities or whatever they're doing, but they really do pick away those banks, make it difficult and deadly. And yeah, I 100% will say in those countries, even in our country here, we have slides, but in most cases we catch them when they're earth type slides. Like ones I've gotten past, but I don't know if they're taking out many people. But I'm not saying here in Canada that we don't lose people through these supposedly some kind of a natural slide that we may be thinking is happening. So be aware of that. Be aware. I've had a lot of people now follow my rock fracking understanding. I've had a lot of people follow my tree, their work on the tree. Even this moss right here, I believe was their, in whatever this LJ, whatever type thing is. This is them chucking away. Look at, I don't know if a bird would even want to come and hang out with this stuff all around here, would you? And this is all fresh, right? So, stay back a bit. Yeah, and I was wondering if this would be something that they would use in their diet, because it almost seems like there is differences, like there is a scrape off level of it. We got these fungi coming on, joining the party here. And those might be a nice little appy. They give us humans thought and thinking when we enter here. Even this crap shape of a heart could have been a person. But if we look, oh, okay, so this is them doing a little bit of the healing on it. See, if you got in there again, you will see their lines, and we're getting to see a little bit of freshness probably in it. Like, I'm not picking up on the freshness very good because of how dark it actually is in here, but the camera looks like it's showing it. So this tree right there, I think they've been mucking around with it. Look at, see how it's becoming a tea kettle bottom? That's by them. So here they got a bunch picked off at it here. So I think I'm really, you know, getting to some of you people. Like, you're really starting to see the very big outcome of this. So you could come up and you could look for more marking in here, more scratch marks, more cuts. You know, working the edges to try to get the healing process coming on. Is that what's going on right there? Looks like it. I can't tell if it's moss. I'm not walking into there, that's all. This one here, I don't know if it's them, but the last couple of times I was around here, this is where there was a lot of dog poop. So I'm not sure if it was them dropping the dog poops in here or what. But I just want to come and look. See that? We would think that's, right away we'll go with that's an axe. And so measure that, you guys. Think about that. When you come to a spawn, you think, who the heck hacked up this tree? Is it just one hack? You know, think to yourself about the malicious person who stopped there to cut up that tree, and why would he only maybe hit it once or twice or something? In the case of where there's not a lot, like this right here. So we got a whole bunch of tree here. We got one spot where a person decided to chew up pretty good on the root of it. And maybe a couple of hacks there that resemble something hacking, like an axe. Go in close and look at the symptoms. You go in and you look at the piece right here that's willing to come out. You start to look. Like this piece here, if it was still there, we could look at the thinness of what was cutting in there at that in particular depth. If you actually come in here, you look at the thickness of my nail. Not one thing looks like a wide groove from an axe. Okay? They got a clawing system. Doesn't mean their claw does not create a wide groove. That may very well be the case. But super thin cutting like this, literally tens of thousands of these I've shown you now. We don't sell that many hatchets in this country. You know, may not be quite that bad, but you know what I'm saying, because it's mostly a sign of a hatchet. Or not a hatchet, I mean, that thin line is less than a hatchet, it's the machete. More style, so. Peace out from the Tin Man. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Venom, I'd love to say hi and stuff. I'm at 2 hours, that was my limit. I don't know what I got for time left, so thank you everybody for showing up. Link, Venom, Annalise, Smile, M.A. Thompson. Awesome, guys. Peace out from the Tin Man. Peace out from Ian Armstrong. Real guy, calling out real stuff. I'm either the most crazy person in the world or a person worth listening to. So maybe give it a few minutes. Watch my first face-to-face video. Ask me lots of questions about it. I haven't been on it for a bit here, so there could be some questions there, but read my comments on that video. See a young being in there. Once you start to see him, look at his eyes, look at his nose, look at the shape of his head, try to figure things out, and then you start to spread out from him. Once you establish his eyes, then you start to spread out from him, and you start to say, what? Is he sitting on his uncle's lap? What? Is that maybe his brother's head down between his knees area, you know? Is that his uncle's hand holding the little guy's tummy, like keeping him in that spot? You know, there's stuff going on there. There's realness. There's, you know, safety for them in that picture. You can see it, and yeah, it's just real stuff. Awesome. I'm just excited. Peace out.